Leader of the third party.
I thank you, Honourable Speaker. It gives me great pleasure to rise and stand to speak at second reading in support of Bill 28, Public Interest Disclosure Act. Honourable Speaker, this Act is a direct response to the recommendations from the Ombudsperson's report, Misfire, the 2012 Ministry of Health Employment Terminations and Related Matters, which was published in April of 2017. Honourable Speaker, while I sat in opposition over the last few years, similar types of pieces of legislation were proposed by the then opposition. It was termed whistleblower legislation at the time, and this is the latest manifestation of that, clearly passed through legislative drafters in a quite substantive manner to give us the present form we see here. The Ombudsperson's report that formed the basis of driving this bill here investigated the dismissal of 7 employees by the Ministry of Health after an initial complaint incorrectly suggested a wrongdoing, and that complaint gained a lot of momentum and instigated a rushed and some would argue inequitable and inappropriate investigation. And at the end, there were clearly far-reaching consequences for the individuals involved, and in one particularly tragic case, an individual committed suicide as a consequence of the whole process. The purpose of this Act is to provide protection and to develop processes for current and former public service workers who wish to make a disclosure of serious wrongdoing. The public service workers are protected under this Act are those who are employees of a ministry, a government body or office, including a person appointed by the Lieutenant Governor and Council under the Public Services Act. Again, Honourable Speaker, it's important that civil servants be given such protection in the case of the desire to actually protect the public's interest and to be able to bring forward to the public significant matters of public interest that are when say a wrongdoing is noticed. You know, in the United States right now, it's a bit of a free-for-all in terms of whistleblowers disclosing left, right, and centre. I suspect they should have such legislation if they do not. In British Columbia's case, and as Canadians in general, we take these matters very seriously. We're respectful, and typically, you know, Canadians, by our very nature, are sometimes we don't like conflict. We don't like to actually create conflict, but we like to be protected when we see an injustice being done, an injustice being done that needs to be brought forward so that that injustice is dealt with. And in this particular case, we are seeing that protection will be given in the province of British Columbia to civil servants who might witness such injustice or inappropriate activities that are happening. Right now, a person who discloses information must not experience reprisal according to this Act, and will also have the option of disclosing anonymously to further protect their information. And this too is important if an investigation is occurring and a whistleblower to be protected under this Act does not want to disclose him or herself publicly. It's important to have the protection. While the bill actually does authorize investigations to occur, and it also provides protection for such a whistleblower or such a person in the public service. The problem, of course, is not necessarily the direct response, but also the whisper chat. And so anonymity is important to avoid the cold shoulder treatment, the nobody's talking to you, the kind of high-schooled or should I say middle school bullying and harassing that sometimes happens with, and so anonymity being protected is important. The Act is based on other legislation. In particular, there's 2 pieces of legislation. One is the Manitoba law, which is the Public Interest Disclosure Whistleblower Protection Act, which was assented in 2006 in the province of Manitoba. There's some similarity between these two, as well as in the province of Alberta, where the Public Sector Disclosure Act, there's also a similar act in that province too, I understand. The health firings, again, some of the issues that perhaps need to be brought forward may not also have been highlighted or thought of through in this bill, in particular the pervasive issue of harassment, bullying, and intimidation in the workplace. We're hoping that the protection for whistleblowers from such behavior is also included in this. And of course, the bill does put a lot of faith in the office of the Ombudsperson or the Auditor General. And seems to me that if we're giving them so much responsibility as per the matters of this bill, that we should ensure that there are safeguards in place that ensure equitable operations in all of these as well. So again, this is a bill that the BC Green Caucus is proud to support. We thank the Attorney General's Office for bringing it in, and we look forward to further expansion in committee stage of some of the details contained in this report. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.